lie there in that old
stream where red, red roses grow, our bungalow of dreams. Far from the city, somehow it seems, we're sitting pretty in our bungalow of dreams. Just like two lovebirds, we'll bill and coo. I'll whisper love words for only you. A bit of heaven beside a stream. I know you'll love it so, our bungalow of dreams.
Hi everyone, I'm Scott from the Old Curiosity Shop, back with another kitchen counter thrift haul, and just look at all that stuff. Now, the music we started out with today is a tune called Our Bungalow of Dreams, and that was recorded in 1927 by the Seven Little Polar Bears, which is actually a pseudonym for Harry Reeser and his orchestra. But first, let's see what's for sale. Now, almost everything you see is for sale. Take a look. Hey, if you've been watching me for a while, you might guess what I'm keeping for myself, but I think I'm gonna surprise you. Okay, so let's see what's what. You saw this a while ago, and now I have got it listed in the Old Curiosity Shop. This wonderful, probably from after the war, I'd say the late 40s. It looks very late 40s. The design on the box could be early 50s. It is a wonderful Royal Pacific plastic set, a corn service set in the original old box, and it appears to have never been used. Now this will be the trick if I can get the lid off, and I can. The box is fantastic, and look what you get. There's the plastic butter dish. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of these little skewers. Skewers? I can't really say that word, but you know what they are. 2 sets of salt and pepper shakers, dark green and light green, and then 4 of these wonderful little dishes to put your corn cob in, roll it around in salt and butter, and you're all set. You know, we have the best corn in New Jersey. New Jersey sweet corn. You wouldn't believe it unless you tasted it, but it is the best corn in the country. Wouldn't this be great for your backyard picnics? I can't believe it's Memorial Day weekend. I love it. Let's leave the lid off. These are so cool. I showed these to Vintage Vinny. If you watch him, you know he loves 40s, 50s pinup. And I told him if I decide to get rid of these, they're his, but I don't want to sell them. At least I haven't decided to, not yet. But if I do, Vinny, these are coming your way. Wonderful old photographs. This looks like two, I guess, college guys. I hope. Look at what they've got in their locker. We won't zoom in too closely. And, oh, we've got something on the back. It says, oh, locker art. And then there's the photographer, okay? I haven't even done any research on Leonard Becker at all from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. But Leonard Becker was the photographer. I really didn't even realize that was on the back. I haven't looked at it. Really neat. We'll put that down. And let's talk about these while we can. These probably are also Leonard Becker. I've had these things for a while. College Humor, she's reading. I love the sofa. And the wallpaper. What is she reading? College Humor. Too bad we can't see the date. But it's certainly, from that lipstick and hairstyle, is looking very late 1930s to me. Probably pre-war. And we can see it's the same photographer, Leonard Becker. And then this is very artistic. Boy, she is really, now I don't know, with that pointy bra, she's got that Jane Russell, right? Was it the Jane Russell? that pointy bra look, but wasn't that in the 50s? This looks older than that. Anyway, it's Leonard, the photographer again. The model is Irene. We won't tell you what her last name is, although it's written on the back. Look at that sofa. Wonderful. Love the upholstery. Anyway, she's having an artistic moment there. These are really neat. I like these a lot. But I would still say that still looks very, I guess it's from the 30s, maybe the 40s. Okay, so let's put those aside. Those are not for sale yet. These tawdry novels are, this is dated one is dated 1949, the other one is dated 1950. And these are by the same author. We have Chicago Confidential and Washington Confidential. Shocking expose of the Capitol, scandalous, revealing, and uncensored. Oh my. Is that what goes on in D.C. in certain circles? How thrilling this would be to get this novel in 1949. And what happens in Chicago? A cheeky, impudent, uncensored, shocking account of the fast, fabulous, fascinating city. Anybody in Chicago? Is that true? Well, let's see. We've got some... looks like she's doing some gambling there. Somebody's getting hit over the head. She's headed for a night out somewhere. Look at that cigarette dangling from her mouth. There's the gangster. And then on the... oh my. Well, they're in good condition and they're for sale. The Boston Model L pencil sharpener, probably 1960s, in good working condition. That's nice vintage office supply. This is going to be the last black glass vase that I show you. And this is the one I'm keeping. I told you about it before. Ellie Smith made these in many different forms. I've talked about them enough, you're probably sick of hearing me. So this is it. But this one is one that I have not seen before. Here we can have, we can see now usually the woman is naked. She is fully clothed. And she's doing a little dance. It looks like she's being led into the woods, perhaps by this dude with his little flute. Or some type of tin whistle here. Now, he's got no clothes on and a very unattractive Donald Trump haircut, if you will. So I'm not sure what's going on here, but it looks like a fun afternoon. This one I decided to keep. It's plain on that side. You turn it that side when your grandmother comes over, right? Or on Sunday afternoons when the preacher comes. All right. For sale in the Old Curiosity Shop. You saw this before, the little Brattleboro, Vermont shopper. I think I leafed through this and actually read some of the jokes. There are recipes in here as well as fashions. A little magazine of modes and merchandise as featured by Goodnow, Pearson, and Hunt. So we saw that before. I'll need some help on this because I have no clue. I'm not a jewelry person. Come on, let's focus. All right, I can read that it says well, it does say sterling. It says sterling stonecraft under there. I'm assuming it's, well, I don't know. Is it costume jewelry? It has an Art Deco look to it, a late 20s, 30s Art Deco look, but maybe it's a reproduction. I really don't know. I couldn't find anything online by the name Stonecraft. You might be able to see it now. Sterling Stonecraft. And Stonecraft appears to be all one word. Are they tiny little diamonds there and probably a fake? I don't know. Jewelry people, help me out with that. It's either worth 10 cents or $10. I don't know. Let's refocus. Hocus pocus. Come on. There we go. It's time for the Bungalow of Dreams. This is not for sale because I love the 1920s and I like green, and this is really neat. The clock isn't working, which doesn't bother me at all because I'll be able to fix it at some point. And it's so tiny, I don't know that I would actually use this to tell time anyway. But the music that we started out with, called Bungalow of Dreams, was recorded in 1927. The earliest bungalow song I can find is around 1915, 1916, and they were making bungalow songs into the 1950s. But the rage of the bungalow was really in the 1920s, and then again after the war, the Second World War. But this was made probably in the early 20s, and it's made out of a sort of a pressed composite wood material, and it's all cold painted. Now you can find this in many different variations of paint schemes. This is all original paint. Wouldn't that be a lovely bungalow of dreams to come home to? In fact, that's probably where these two are headed right now. After they have their afternoon assignation, they're probably headed back to the Bungalow of Dreams. Nice 3D effect, probably to be used in a bedroom on a dresser because that clock is so small. If we turn it around on the back, we can see it's actually branded, and it is called the Bungalow Clock. That's pretty original. And this is made by the Deluxe Clock Company. Patent pending, and it is the Bungalow Clock, the Deluxe Clock Company of New York. You can see this is definitely a wood product, pressed wood product. It weighs a lot too. On either side of the bungalow are two boudoir lamps. They are for sale, and you didn't think they were going to be. I shocked you. He's what? He's selling something that's from the Depression, and it's green? I am. Let me get these out of the way. These are for sale too, and I can't identify them. They look terribly like the Mount Pleasant pattern by L.E. Smith. Go look up L.E. Smith Mount Pleasant, and you'll see in black glass a pattern that looks just like this. I don't know of L.E. Smith making cups and saucers in uranium glass. I suppose they may have, but this could also be another company. I just haven't been able to identify it yet, but it really looks like the Mount Pleasant pattern, as I said. And all I have are these 4 saucers, so we're going to sell them as they are. Now we can get this out of the way and slide these lamps out, because I need to talk to you about these lamps for just a second. Now remember, anything that is for sale, you can go on my eBay shop and see close-up pictures, detailed photographs that will show you much more than you'll see here. These are made sometime around They're made in the Depression era. This is sort of a nod towards colonial revival because they're really stylized little kerosene lamps with hurricane shades. And of course, colonial revival was the style of taste. If you had good taste and you weren't into all that modern furniture, you went colonial revival, and these would be perfect in your bedroom vanity, boudoir. They could even go on a mantle. Now, one of them is in excellent, perfect, undamaged condition, and the second one has damage. This is the one that's in excellent condition. This is the one that's damaged. I'm going to show you the damage in just a second. So when we turn it off, you'll see frosted glass hurricane shades that come out easily with stylized leaves and a fluted top. And then a place for a little light bulb. These will be sold, of course, without the light bulbs. I don't ship light bulbs. Now, the on-off switch is on this side, and it was curious to me why they decided to put the cord coming out of the side instead of the back, and I now realize why. You might like them displayed with the on-off switch in the front so that you can easily turn them on and off. I like them displayed this way without seeing the on-off switch. Makes them harder to turn on and off, but you could plug the electric cords into an outlet that is controlled by a light switch. Solves your problem. And that's the reason why the cords are coming out of the side. If the cords were coming out of the back with it facing this way, you wouldn't have the option of turning the switch to the back. So that's why you see cord coming out of the side. These are long electric cords, electric lines. They're 7 feet long, and there's nothing wrong with them. They were replaced at some time, and they're good modern replacements, and there's no problem with them, so I'm leaving them that way. No mark on the bottom. Pay attention to this because it's going to come up later. There's a switch with the letter F on it. That's an electrical switch that was replaced. That one has its original electrical switch on it, which I'll show you. Let's turn it back on. Turn this one around. And we can see there's the original switch. So they don't match completely, but who's going to notice, right? All right, well, let's zoom in. I was very surprised. Can you read what it says on that switch? Porcelain! That's right. A lot of you collectors will know that the Porcelain company made ceiling light fixtures. I sold a beautiful kitchen light fixture last summer. They made all types of porcelain light fixtures for the kitchen, the hallway, the bathroom, sconces, and whatnot. They made coffee pots. They made porcelain fittings for toasters and percolators and all kinds of things during the Depression era. There's no markings on the bottoms of these. I never knew the Porcelain company to make small table lamps like this. But I'm going to attribute these to Porcelain. I don't have a Porcelain book. There is one, a collector's book, that it was put out with all the Porcelain products. So maybe somebody has that and can look it up for me. I don't know why the switch would say Porcelain unless there's some variation, but this actually does look like a Porcelain product. So, is it Porcelain company? Could be. It doesn't really make a huge difference. I just found it interesting. Okay, so now let's talk about the damage. Now notice, let's look at the shade first because you're going to scream. You don't see any damage. All right, no cracks, no chips up here at all. Nothing. No problems up top. And no problems. That's the light bulb that you just see glaring through there. No problems until we lift the shade up. Okay, wow, that's quite an owie. Okay, so I don't like that it's there, but it is. It happens. Thankfully, it does not extend up into the frosted decorative part, so we don't see it. Now, as a slight manufacturing flaw, if you want to call it a flaw, this is a little uneven, this edge up top on the porcelain. You see that? That's just how it came out of the factory. Forget this old light bulb. So when it sits down in there, it sort of rocks a little bit, but that's just because of the way the porcelain edge was finished. You don't see this crack at all, and you can see now it's completely hidden from view. And when the light is on, we don't see any result of that damage. And again, it's not cracked, so the integrity of the shade has not been altered. So I don't like that it's there, but it's there. The other two bits of damage is there is a chip right here that somebody re-glued. Let's focus in on it. Okay, now you can see that it was chipped and someone re-glued the chip back on. You see that? Hardly noticeable. Of course, it's extremely noticeable when we get right up on it like that, but you just pull it back a little bit, 1 foot, and you don't even see it. There's another chip on the back, which is a little more noticeable. We can see someone glued, they did the best they could, and they glued what they could of that chip on there. I made no attempt to color the white that's exposed. You could take some green, magic marker, fingernail polish, whatever you want, and sort of paint over that to get that to disappear. So those two little chips are there, and the chips on the shade. But I thought they were too good to pass up, even with that damage. And the reason is because this is a pretty, I would say, rare form. I've been collecting 20s and 30s for a long time. I've never seen this particular set of lamps before. I've seen lots of boudoir and vanity lamps. Some are very common. This I've never seen, and I like it a lot. So those are up for auction in the Old Curiosity Shop. You saw this, and it's also up for auction in the Old Curiosity Shop. Flint glass wine stem, all hand blown, all handmade, etched with oak leaves and acorns. I guess it shows up better when we look at it over the black. All right, oak leaves and acorns. It has a semi-polished pontil on the bottom. It's a little rough to the touch, but it has been polished down a little bit. That's an air bubble that's inside the glass, and you don't feel it. I pinged it, and we listened to it ring the last time, so should we do it again? Let's try it. Beautiful. Beautiful bell tone. Definitely a piece of flint glass, probably anywhere from 1800 to 1840, let's say somewhere around 1830, and it's called a button stem. The base is applied. That came from a thrift shop here in the Philadelphia area. This is not quite as old. In fact, this might not be any older than the last 50 years or so, although it looks like early American blown glass. It is blown, applied handles, with a rough pontil and some little air bubbles in there. It's kind of a teal color to that green glass. It has a colonial look, just a pretty blown piece of art glass, again, that I think was made within the last, no more than the last 50 years. Two absolutely stunning frames. This one dates from the 1890s to 1911. Now, how can I be so sure of that? Well, because the company started in the 1891, and they went out of business 20 years later in 1911. So either late Victorian or extremely early 20th century. It's an iron frame that was gilded. Now, gilt brass is called ormolu. I don't know what you call gilt iron. I don't believe you call it ormolu. We're just going to call it gilded iron. A lot of the gilding is gone. Most of it's gone, but no one took a can of radiator spray paint to this. The detail is gorgeous. I can't remember the measurements. They're in the auction listing. There's no glass. You can easily replace the glass for this, so it's being shipped without any glass. But just look at the detail. There's no damage. There's nothing bent, rusted, or broken from it. It's an easel type lamp. shade that folds out like that. Oh, shade. I need to just put this down and start over again. It's an easel type frame with a fold out stand, which we can see right there. And it is marked on the back N, B, and IW. That's the National Brass and Iron Works. And if I remember correctly, that factory was in Reading, Pennsylvania. I may have that fact a little muddled in my mind. Those are the original 4 clips that will hold the glass and photograph in. And again, the measurements are on the auction site. These frames sell for $50 to $150. I think that this will probably sell somewhere within the $60 range. It's just beautifully done, even though most of the gilding is gone. I wouldn't do anything to it. I would leave it just like that. This one also dates to probably the turn of the century, and it is a little pressed tin, very lightweight. And this also appears to be gilded, but this is a pressed tin frame. I'm really having focusing issues today. Okay, there we go. So you can see very lightweight pressed tin. The picture and the glass will slide in through the top. It has an easel that causes it to stand. There are no marks on it. I don't know who made it. I was surprised when I saw that it wasn't marked at all. But it's also really pretty and really nice condition. As you can see, the gilding on that has held up beautifully over the years. And that's just a really gorgeous frame. Also for sale in the shop. Okay, so I'm going to back up now and let you see it all one more time. I think I got everything in. Well, hi everyone. I just want to chit chat for a couple of minutes because I have to say thank you to 2 subscribers who have sent packages for Salem, my cat. Yes, he had a birthday a month ago. He turned 19. We haven't had the party yet, and I haven't opened up your packages. But they say to Salem, so I know that they're for him. He had a kind of a rough week last week. He was very lethargic. He was just sleeping all the time. His personality had changed. He still had interest in his food, but he lost interest in toys, and he wasn't clingy like he normally is. He always is right on top of me. And so I think he just either wasn't feeling well or, you know, he's 19, so, but yesterday he perked right back up and he was playing and running around, going up and down the steps, and he seemed like his old self again. So that was good. He doesn't really have any health problems except for a little bit of vision. He's lost 4 teeth. He walks very slowly most of the time, but his blood work was fantastic. So they said for a 19-year-old cat, he's doing very well. So maybe we'll hit 20, 21, I hope so. I've had him for 19 years. So we're gonna try to have that little party. I can't wait to get in those boxes and see what's there for the cat. Also, thank you to Deborah, who surprised me this week with this. This is made in the US zone of Germany, and it's a puppy dog teapot. I don't know how well. I'll show this to you later in detail. You might be able to see the mark on the bottom there, made in the US zone of Germany. And so I guess he's a little, I don't know what he is, what brand or what type he is. Dachshund, Beagle, I'm not sure. You guys already know. But he's in super condition. I cleaned him all up. Well, it was already clean when I got it. And but washed it up, polished it up. Now, Deborah said I could sell it for money. Deborah, I love this and I'm not selling it. So too bad, everybody, you're not getting it. It's going right into my collection because I love it. And his head swivels, he's a teapot, and he's just in really good shape. And it was a nice gift, and I appreciate that. I also know There are a few other things some folks have told me about that that it's not here yet, but I'll tell you more about that later. I also want to say, give you a little update on this part of the country. As you know, I live in Philadelphia. I'm born and raised in New Jersey. All of my family is right across the river in New Jersey. Philadelphia borders New Jersey along the Delaware River. This area was hit very severely, as you probably know, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, and the other states on the East Coast. So we're all still very much on complete lockdown here. Now, I guess I shouldn't say complete. A few little restrictions are taking place, but we still can't go in any stores. There's no thrifting, there's no flea markets. We finally got the news that some of the New Jersey shore will be open for Memorial Day weekend. Of course, you know, there are dozens of towns all along the New Jersey shore, along the Jersey coast, and there are going to be restrictions, but people are going to be able to go and at least enjoy the boardwalk and the ocean over Memorial Day weekend. Today's Thursday, so this is Memorial Day weekend. I'm not going anywhere near the Jersey shore. We've got all summer for that. I only live about an hour away. But over the weekend, New Jersey hit 11,000 deaths, and there have been deaths in every single county in New Jersey. So it's a rough old time. My thoughts and prayers are with anyone who has gotten sick or lost friends or family. I have been blessed. The Lord has taken care of my family and me. There's been we're healthy and we're safe and we're good, and I'm thankful for that. So what I want to say to my fellow thrifters, as I see the country is opening up in many places, hey, please be careful. Remember, there's still no antibiotic for this, and it's still out there. And I know freedom, we've been pent up for so long, but please wear those masks, keep those gloves on, don't let your guard down, stay healthy, take care of yourselves. I would not want to see any of you become sick, become in danger, or endanger anyone else. So I'm glad some of you were able to get out. I enjoy watching other friends, thrifting friends around the country who are out shopping, but please be safe and be careful. I trust you're well and your families are well. That's my hope and prayer for everybody. So this is a very long video, and I'm gonna close it right there. Thank you for everyone who continues to shop in my eBay shop. I am able to get out to the post office about once a week. So I'm still listing. Oh, I forgot. All the things that you just saw, none of that is newly bought. That's all been sitting around either in the basement or in boxes or just things I haven't had a chance to list. So I'm almost near the end of my stockpile of stuff. I might be able to do maybe 2 more auctions, but hopefully by then some of the stores in the area might be open and I might be able to do a little shopping, a little antique shopping or thrift shopping. But if not, it's okay. I'm thankful to be alive and healthy, and I will hunker down as long as we're told to. Whatever you're doing this weekend, whether it's sitting home alone like me eating a hot dog on the roof, or whether you're able to get out and about, I wish you well. I'm Scott from the Old Curiosity Shop saying thanks for watching, and so long for now.